Hey, so today I'm finally going to be talking about the book I've been looking so forward to talking about. Norm Macdonald's book, based on a true story, not a memoir. This book took me forever to get. I think this is the fourth time I ordered it. So the first time I ordered it, I was waiting and waiting and waiting. It never came. It got shipped back to the seller. I got a refund. I ordered it again. Misdelivered. At first, I thought that was kind of perfect. Because of all books I tried to order and got misdelivered and was having such a hard time getting it, it figures it would be Norm's book. I was kind of entertained by that thought at first. I ordered it again. I don't even know what happened that time. Then I ordered it for the fourth time, and I was kind of hesitant, but I was determined to get this book. I just thought, just give it to me. I wouldn't give up. And then I was at work, and I got an email of something being delivered. And I saw the picture of it at my doorstep. Part of me was still a little suspicious. And finally, I opened it up, not expecting to see the book in the package. But then I saw the book in the package. And it was like Christmas morning. I was in the middle of another book when it finally arrived, and I thought, okay, I need to read this now. So I quickly read the book I was on. I don't even remember what book it was. And then I dove into it. And oh man, in this book, he goes through so much that if you know him, you know it's not true. But you can't help but laugh in just pure glee. I was just, oh man, I couldn't put this book down. I joked with other coworkers saying that if I bring it to work, I am not gonna want to work. And I really didn't. Part of me so many times had it open and I was reading and I just wanted to put it in front of my face and just answer with busy, go inside. But I love my job, so I didn't. So, if you don't know Norm, if you're not a fan of his and you want to see kind of what his humor is about, don't pick up this book. Not yet. Because the not a memoir part is really not a memoir. And if you know his comedy, you know that's kind of how he is anyway. And it even says on the back of this book says, when Norm Macdonald, one of the greatest stand-up comics of all time, was approached to write a celebrity memoir, he flat out refused, calling the genre one step below instruction manuals. Norm then promptly took a 2-year hiatus from stand-up comedy to live on a farm in northern Canada. When he emerged, he had under his arm a manuscript, a genre-smashing book about comedy, tragedy, love, loss, war, and redemption. When asked if this was a celebrity memoir, Norm replied, "Call it anything you damn like." That's Norm for you. It even has me questioning where he wrote this book, because it seems like all his fake stories begin with him on a farm. Conan actually called him on it, and he was so delighted when he did.
Is this a true story?
Yes.
Or is this one of your, he has a farm and a goat comes by? I saw Trump. Trump. He had a farm. He said, "I want you to meet my donkey," he said. And I was like, "Well, Mr. Trump, I know you're running for president, but tell me more about this here donkey." "Well," he says, "if you want to see the donkey, you got to first meet my 3 daughters. Now, the first one's shy, the second one's sexy, and the third one has 1 leg." I'm making all of this up.
I know.
But this is exactly what you do.
So there's little bits of truth, at least he'd have you believe, in this book. But it's mostly fiction. How do I describe this book to people who don't know Norm's style? He built a character around himself and wrote a book about it. He's a stalker, a drug user, responsible for deaths, ended up in prison. He insults his friends. Bob Saget is one of them. during the chapter where he talks about dirty work. If you've seen Bob Saget's roast, you know how Norm really cared about him.
In all seriousness, Bob was the first comedian that I ever saw perform when I was a boy, live, and I loved him. But one thing that bonds us as comedians is we're bitter and jealous, and we hate everyone else that has any success. But Bob, honestly, has never had an unkind word for anybody, and I love him, and I hope everybody else does, so I just wanted to say that. Thank you.
Even included pictures in it, like him as a kid, which he always had that smile, and I kind of love that. There's a ghostwriter involved. There's actually a story on the ghostwriter. And what I love is him talking about what he's wearing. And I don't doubt he did this at least once. But every time he seems to go out in this book, he's wearing a Norm Show shirt, an SNL jacket, and a dirty work hat. Because, you know, he needs to let people know what he's been in. That he is somebody. It's so Norm. And I think that's why it got praised so much by other comedians when it first came out. Because everyone knows Norm's insanity. And it has him all over it. I mean, obviously he wrote it. And there's quotes from some of them saying how delighted they were that they were included in the book. They don't care that he totally made up stories about them because that's Norm. That's why he's so unique, and that's what makes this book stand out so much, makes it so different. Because you go into it thinking it's memoir, but if you know anything about him and you get to the first or second page, you think, yeah, no, this is no memoir. But oh man, it's so good. It is so, so good. I know I have the physical book, but I'm almost tempted to get the audio version too, because he's reading it, even though while I was reading it, I heard his voice reading it back. It wasn't my voice. You know how you always kind of hear your own voice when you're reading a book? Not this one. I heard Norm. But to actually hear him, I may get the audio version as well, just to experience that. Definitely a book I want by my side at all times, even if I only have time to read a page. If I'm done with a book that I'm currently reading, as long as I have this near me just to kill some time until I get home, that would keep me happy. But I don't want to ruin it. I don't want it to get all beat up. That's the only thing that makes me keep it home. But if I wasn't worried about that, I would. I would carry it around with me always. Having a little bit of Norm with me all the time doesn't sound like a bad idea. If you're a fan of his, you need to read this book. And if this got you curious about him, watch some interviews, maybe watch some things he's been in, get to know him a little bit, and then pick this book up. I can't say enough about it. For all the insane stories, I don't know how he did it, but he made up the best stories, and it's all captured in this book. So if I had to rank this book at all, out of like 5 stars, I'd give it 7. Because it's Norm. I love it. If you get easily offended, you may not want to read this. Just because there's no boundaries with him in this book. He goes above and beyond. But just remember, it's fiction. That's my review. Because if this went on any longer, I would just be saying the same thing over and over, how much I love it. So I guess I have to end this somehow. That's my review on Norm. So my next celebrity book that I review may be my Bob Saget book. And I don't know when that will come up, but it'll come up eventually because it's in my to be read pile. But I'll get to it. See you guys next time. Bye.